All right, and open up your books to page 620, something around there.
Let's see.
619, 620.
All right, ready for this, Colton?
720.
I opened the 619 twice in a row today.
That's pretty impressive, Mr. Darrow. All right, so instructions yesterday were to pick 2 questions and write a thesis statement, topic, sentence outline for each of those 2 questions. So that would mean like I would pick question for discussion number 2. Then I would maybe pick suggestion for writing number 1. And then for this one, I would have a thesis statement and however many topic sentences I would need to develop that thesis statement fully. And then for this one, I would have a thesis statement and then however many topic sentences I would need to develop that thesis statement. And because you are all geniuses, you know that what are the qualities of a good topic sentence? It has to relate to the thesis. It is specific. It's strongly worded. It answers the question, so what? And then you also know the topic sentences do what?
Topic. Punch arms.
T.
T-pose.
R.
Tree.
A.
Transition.
Transition. This is an N.
That's a backwards N.
Yeah, it's backwards N. Duh.
Lightning bolt.
I think you're just trying to flex on us now.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
just doing my best Nelson impression.
Weird flex.
Okay. So your topic sentences would be specific, strongly worded, so what? They would transition. Your thesis statement would respond to the prompt. Now, the first problem that some people were having was that a prompt has like 3 sets of questions in there, right? It would let's look at question for discussion number 2 for a moment. At the very beginning of Act 1, Algernon states, "I don't play accurately. Anyone can play accurately, but I play with wonderful expression." How does this comment establish a theme in the play? In what other ways throughout the play is Algernon not accurate but expressive? Are other characters also not accurate but expressive? So those are 3 questions there, right? And those are 3 pretty different questions. We have one talking about theme, we have one talking about other instances of Algernon, and we have one talking about other characters. How on earth could we come up with a theme state or a thesis statement that would encompass all 3 of those questions? Did anybody take a crack at this one?
I did do that question. I think my thesis statement might be a little weak, though.
Well,
Right as well.
hold on a second. But wait, you don't need a thesis statement that responds to all 3 of those questions. You need a thesis statement that responds to the most important of those 3 questions that allow you to discuss those other things. What is the most important of those 3 questions?
First one.
Yeah.
Which is, how does this comment establish the theme of the play?
Yes.
Right? So your thesis statement should just be about what is the theme of the play that's established by that comment. And then we would have at least one topic sentence that talks about how Algernon does this sort of thing, and that speaks to theme. And we would have another topic sentence where what?
Other people do this.
Other people. So we have to have at least one Algernon and at least one other people. Could we have 2 about Algernon and 1 about other people?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fine. But at bare minimum, you need to have 1 for Algie and 1 for somebody else. So that would be your thesis statement and topic sentence for that one. Something about theme, Algernon doing that and how it relates to theme, other characters doing that and how it relates to theme. Does that make sense? All right, let's flip over and let's try another one on your lonesome. Check out questions for style and structure number 2. Okay, I'm going to read the question out loud. Class, I want you to be able to tell me what is the most important question in there that my thesis statement needs to respond to. Consider the invented word Bunburyist. Why is the term used so many times in quick succession in Act 1? And with such relish? How many variations does the word undergo? Why does the made-up term play such an important role in this play?
Thank you.
The last one, right? That's the most important question. Last one, number 9. A hallmark of Wilde's style is his use of epigram, a short, witty, often paradoxical statement designed to surprise the audience. What does paradox mean, geniuses?
It doesn't make sense, but then it ends up.
Then it does make sense. Yep. The importance of being earnest is full of such lines, such as the following line from Act 1. To lose one parent may be regarded as misfortune. To lose both parents seems like carelessness. Identify 3 examples of epigrams in the play and consider the purpose of each statement. What role do epigrams serve collectively and how do they affect the tone of the play? Last one. So my thesis statement would be all about epigrams collectively. What is their purpose and how do they establish tone? How many body paragraphs am I going to have for this one?
2,
Nope.
3, 4,
Nope.
3.
3.
3.
How do you know I'm going to have 3 body paragraphs?
Because it says 3 examples.
Identify 3 examples. So body paragraph 1 would be, topic sentence would be about example 1 and how that epigram serves a purpose and establishes tone. Another example and another example. Its purpose and how it establishes tone. So that's how you kind of navigate coming up with thesis statements and topic sentences for each of these questions. Mr. Keller.
If we did the epigram ones, does it just have to be in Act 1?
Yeah, it would just be in Act 1. Yep. Any other questions about navigating the question? All right, so kind of based on what we just said, raise your hand if you feel like you have 2 questions, thesis statement, topic sentences out that you feel good about. How many of you have 2 that you have started, but you feel like need revision? How many of you have 1 that you feel good about? And how many of you started but don't feel good about any of it? And how many of you didn't start? Okay, all right. So just kind of a sense of where we're at.
I have to raise
Yeah,
the first one.
Derek, you have 2 and you feel good about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Did any of your 2 deal with theme or satire?
Yes.
Which one?
Satire.
Okay. What question did you respond to?
Yeah, that's the thing. So I mix myself up with directions a little bit.
Okay.
So it's not exactly related to one question.
Let's take a look at
A different person's.
no.
example.
We'll come back to you, but let's take a look at one of the questions that deal with satire. What'd you say?
Number 9.
Number 9.
Yep.
Questions for discussion. Number 9.
Correct.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Now, so that's how you go about navigating the questions. The other big issue that was popping up in class period 1 was that people weren't discussing about satire and theme well. Satire doesn't just mean you're making fun of something. In order to prove a point. Okay, so when you're writing about satire, it's not good enough just to say Wilde satirizes Victorian society. You have to get to what is the point he's trying to make about Victorian society through the satire. So let's think about that for a second. Number 9. In satire, human folly is held up to ridicule. Though humorous, a satire's purpose is to critique, often seriously, that which it mocks. How does Lady Bracknell's interview of Jack as a prospective suitor satirize modern education? Where else does Wilde satirize modern education? So he's satirizing modern education, which means he's making fun of modern education. Now, it's not good enough to just write something like, Lady Bracknell says that modern education is worthless. Now, that states what Lady Bracknell says, and that kind of states how Wilde's making fun of it. But that doesn't go on to say what is the point Wilde is making about modern education. So Lady Bracknell is satirizing modern education. She says it's worthless. Why is it worthless?
Because she's in the upper class, so she wants all the people in the lower class to not be educated.
Right. Because
If
they do become educated, they'll start.
if they do become educated, they could rise up and overthrow the ruling class.
So we need oppression of the lower.
So we need to keep them dumb. And fortunately, modern education produces no effects whatsoever, right? Okay, now, so that's what she says. What is the point, though, that Wilde is trying to make about education? Here's where we kind of got to separate the point the playwright is trying to make versus the point that his character is making.
I mean, I think he's just making like the opposite point by like having Lady Bracknell kind of be like overkill on like we want to keep people dumb, which is the opposite of the argument that he's making because he's making Lady Bracknell's point look kind of ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
So his point would be the opposite of that.
So what is that?
Like people should get education because
Education is important. and
Yeah.
necessary.
Education is important. And British society is failing its people by intentionally keeping it what?
ignorant.
Ignorant, restrictive, not useful. So your part with that and British is failing its people because you combine those two things and you have what Wilde is trying to say through his satire about modern education. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, so that's satire. If you have a question about satire, you need to have that in the back of your head. Theme was another one. Theme does not mean, instead of saying what it's not, here's what it is. Theme is like you turn all the lights off in the room, you fire up a lava lamp, you open a bag of Doritos, and you talk about the world, man. Yeah, so themes are these big ideas that are meant to critique life, society, big ideas at large. They're not restricted to like just simple character traits. So if you think about a movie like Forrest Gump, there's a bunch of different things that happen in there. But a theme in Forrest Gump would be like, what is Forrest Gump as a movie trying to say about love or working hard or what it takes to be successful in the world or how people put up artificial barriers? So have we all seen Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
No. Well, then, number one, go see it. Number two, people who have seen it. Okay, what is Forrest Gump trying to say theme-wise about what it takes to be successful, considering the story of Forrest? Hard work, determination, but also what allows his shrimp business to finally take off.
I haven't seen it in a while.
You gotta undergo hardships first before you can finally have a big break.
Well, and the only reason he was able to succeed as a shrimper was that a storm, an act of God, natural disaster, wiped out every other shrimping boat. So his was the only one left. So yes, you have to work hard and have a positive attitude, absolutely. But it is that coupled with
Luck.
overcoming hardships and luck. Luck. Okay, so a theme in Forrest Gump, hey, throw some knowledge out there. Me articulating a theme statement would be something like the movie Forrest Gump establishes the idea that in order for somebody to succeed, notice how I'm using big picture language. In order for somebody to succeed, they need to have a positive attitude in order to overcome hardships in life, but they also need a significant amount of luck if they are ever going to achieve something tremendously successful. So that sentence is applicable to the world, man, right? You think about, because you can apply that same theme to Bill Gates. Bill Gates, tremendously smart, worked hard, overcame hardships, but he had the luck of being born next to like the only computer that existed at the time that was accessible to the public. You can imagine Bill Gates not being born into that environment or next to that computer. His life may have shaken out very differently. So luck plays an important role there. So when you're stating a theme statement, the theme statement you need to come up with needs to apply more broadly to the world, man, than just a specific play. It's inspired by a specific play, but it's the world, man. lava lamps. Cheetos, Cheetos and Doritos.
He's done this.
Which
Dark-
one though?
He's definitely
Both, same time. A Cheeto sandwich with Dorito is the
What?
Dorito is the bun. Cheetos
I'd
the
like
inside.
some mix where it's
Yeah.
like Doritos.
Or if you find
Cheetos,
one of those curved Doritos, you set your Cheeto in there. Now you got a Dorito Cheeto hot dog.
Oh,
This is like-
It's a Dorito Cheeto taco.
Obviously.
you look at the shapes in the lava lamp.
Oh.
Yeah, that's where you get the world, man.
That's the next. Thing,
Exactly.
that's the next thing that Taco Bell needs to make, a Dorito Cheeto taco.
I'm sure they're on it. If anybody can crack this case, it's Taco Bell.
You know what? I'm
All
gonna
right,
go work for them.
So we have ballpark of 15 minutes left in class. I would imagine your work needs revision. Maybe, Mr. Darrell, I'll start with you. By tomorrow, I want you to come to class with a good one that you feel good about. Just one. Yeah, I think 2 is a bit of a stretch. Come to class with a good one. Make sure you heed my warnings about what satire is and isn't, and what theme is and isn't, and how you come up with a thesis statement that responds to your question and use those sub-questions to help determine topic sentences. Does that make sense, class? All right. So we're going to go on like a first come, first serve basis. I'll start with Darryl. And then if anybody else has either questions or wants to show me something that they